Welcome back to Library YouTube channel. So this class we're going to learn how to make this beautiful 3D embellishment. Okay, it's a very simple tutorial, and this tutorial is going to allow you to learn how to cut different shapes with your wire, and you can use any fabric of your choice for this. I used organza for this, but you can also use lace fabrics or any beautiful fabric that will not need so much embellishment. So if this is something you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so to make this cutout, I'm going to be working with my wire as usual. This is a millenary wire. It's about 0.7 millimeter. You can also use 0.91 millimeter, something that you can just bend easily. So if I have 0.9, I would have even preferred it so that it's not going to be so soft. So you can just use any wire of your choice. I'm working with this hemming gum. You can also use glue. Okay, but I'm working with an organza fabric which is which frays a lot, so I just want to use this hemming gum to seal it. That's why I prefer to work with the hemming gum, but you can also use your glue. And then I'm going to be using my marker to draw out the cutout pattern that I'm going to be working with. So this depends entirely on what you want. You can just make whatever you want. You can draw anything you want. It can be in form of a petal, whatever design you want, basically. Okay, so I'm not so good at diagrams, so I'm just going to try to draw something. But if you want something perfect and you know you cannot draw well, you can just download whatever shape that you want, and then you print it out so that it can be perfect and it will be easier for you to work with. So this is a shape, and then just like I have on my thumbnail, there is one that looks like an umbrella, I think. So I'm going to just cut out those two shapes and then we'll work on it. So I'm going to draw this again. Okay, so I'm drawing it again. It's just going to look like an umbrella, and then we're going to use the wire to form the stalk underneath it. So now, after drawing it, what I'm going to do now is to take my scissors and then cut out this pattern that I have. Like I said, it can be any pattern, so I'll just trace and cut it out. Okay, so I've cut it out. I think I've gotten a better shape of this now. So after getting your cutout like this, the next thing to do now is to bring your copper wire, and then you're going to try to use it to form this shape. Remember, in this case it has a stalk, okay, which is what the person that requested for this tutorial was actually asking about, how to form your 3D embellishments with stock. So for the stock, I'm going to leave this extension before I start molding it. So now what I'm going to do, the wire is very flexible, so it's just going to do whatever it is you want it to do. So I'll just try to start bending it following this shape that I have. You can see how I'm doing this. Once I get here, I'm just going to fold it like this to conform with what I have there. So I'm just bending it to follow that design that I have, and when I get to this edge again, I'm going to bend again to follow what I have here. I hope we'll just understand what I'm doing. So now once I get here, I'm going to bring it together to know where it stops here. So once I get that point, I will begin to twist it, okay, to form the stalk. Okay, so now you can cut off the excess, depends on how long you want your stalk to be, and then I'm going to just twist the rest. Okay, so after twisting it, you have secured it. Now you can just bring in your template again to check if there's any part that you feel you want to redo. You can do that at this point. Okay, so now this is easier, but that was why I cut a different shape, so that we can see that you can do this with whatever shape that you want. So for this, I'm not going to be adding any stock. I'm just following this shape that I have. So once I form the first one, I'll turn again and form the next one. So it is that simple. It's the same process, and the wire I'm working with is not so strong, so it's very easy for me to bend. So you can see I'm following the shape now to form the next one, and then now I'm off to form the last one. Okay, so after forming the last one, you can just cut it off and then you bring everything together just like this. Okay, so you can also use your wire to bind it together here, but our hemming glue is just going to do that for us as well. So this is what I have for this shape as well. So you can do this for whatever shape you want. So after doing this, now what you just need to do is to bring in your fabric, whatever fabric you are working with. I'm working with organza, so I'll just cut a small piece of this organza, then I'm going to lay down the organza fabric and then place my hemming glue underneath it. So if you are working with gum, you just dab your wire, so you just dab the wire with the glue you are working with, and then you place it. After placing it, you add glue to the upper part as well, and then you cover with your organza. But for me, I'm using hemming gum, so I'm just going to lay the hemming gum first on the fabric. Then after laying it, covering every part, make sure you don't have space. So after laying it on the fabric like this, I'm going to, once I have enough for what I'm doing, I'm going to place my pattern on it like this. Then after placing it, I'm going to place the hemming gum on the pattern again. Okay, making sure that I cover every part. Then after placing it, you just fold over, you cover it with your fabric, and then you take it to your hot iron and then you iron it. So once this comes in contact with anything hot, it's going to melt the hemming gum to make sure that everything stays together. So I'm just covering it like this, and then I'll go ahead and iron. So I have ironed it now, and you can see now that it is glued together. You can see how stiff this is looking now because of the hemming gum, and by the time I'm cutting it out, it's not going to be fraying. The hemming gum must have sealed the edges for you. So the same way we have done for this is the same thing we are going to do for this as well. Just place your hemming gum underneath, place your pattern, and then you just cover it with hemming gum. So I have done for the other one. The next thing now, you can see, you can clearly see your wire lines. So the next thing now is to bring in your scissors, and then you trace out this shape that you have. You trace very close to the wire. Okay, so you can use the tip of your scissors for this. If you are working with a very sharp scissors, you should be able to do this. So now I'm just cutting it. Then after cutting it around, I'm going to go ahead and iron it again so that I can seal whatever edge that might have opened up. So I'm just trying to cut as close as possible. Just be careful not to cut into your main design. So this is what I have for now, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this other side as well. I'm just going to cut around the wire that I have there. Sorry. So I have cut out the shape now, and like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and iron it one more time before I start to embellish this. So now for the embellishment, which is the most important part, because this is what makes it really beautiful. You can embellish it whatever you want. Okay, this is a cup chain like we normally do. You can just place your cup chain now and then apply some glue and then place it all around the design if you want to work with a cup chain. But I think I'm going to be working with this sequin beads. It has small tiny holes here, so you can actually tack it, but I'm just going to use my glue to place it around it somehow, just to beautify it and see what this gives me. Okay, so I've gone ahead to apply my cup chain to one, and then I use the beads on the other. So you can use whichever design that you want. Sorry about this dark mark. I couldn't find my fabric glue, so I just had to work with this candle gum that I have. So you make sure that you work with your glue and you make it as neat as possible. So you just had, we have done several of these on the channel already, so you already know how to add all of these embellishments to it. So now after adding it, you can decide to arrange this however it is that you want. Okay, and if you have enough, you can even add your cup chain to the stock as well, just to cover it up and make it more beautiful. Okay, so now I have gone ahead to add the beads to the entire space that I have. you can see how beautiful this is looking. So you can just go ahead and do the same thing for this as well, or you can just leave it, but I think I prefer it fully embellished like this. You can also do the same thing for this as well, but I just decided to place it here and there just to show us the different designs you can do with this. You can see how lovely and beautiful this is, and you can go ahead and just arrange it anyhow you want. So because this is like a closed gum, you can just tack on it, or you just add your glue to place it wherever it is you want to place it. But I advise that you tack it since it is tackable. And again, because of the embed on the of the wire that is inside, you can also fold it anyhow you want. Okay, you can decide to bend this to any design that you wish. So I hope you enjoy making this beautiful tutorial with me, and if you feel that the back is going to show, especially because I used a candle gum, you can also add the beads to the back as well, just to make it neater, or you go ahead to cover it with another layer of organza fabric, so that it's going to be really neat. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.